Hey everybody, good morning. Reporting to you live from the smokiest place in the entire world. If you're not aware, Michigan is just like, it's like Silent Hill out there right now, but I'm home from work first thing in the morning, and it's time to talk about some video games. Late as usual, but that's alright. Let's talk about quarter two. I was fairly successful, I would say. Games took a back seat to other things I'm working on. But, I mean, I still feel pretty good about it. We'll quickly go through what I am currently playing at the moment. And I won't talk too much about these games because I don't want to have much to say about something I have not finished. But anyway. So, first off, the tried and true. Pick to Picks is still here. Working on it. Put about 5 hours in. I think I have about 40 puzzles left, but at this point they're taking me like 20 to 30 minutes or so. I still feel motivated to finish this eventually, but taking my time. Next up, Half-Life 2. Started it. I'm having a good time. But I am close to the end of the game and haven't been the most motivated to finish it for one reason or another. It's not that I'm not enjoying the game. I just haven't been playing most of my games in the past month at my computer, which you'll see shortly. But I mean, it's Half-Life 2. It's classic. It got its status for a reason. What else to say? Yeah. Pentiment. Continuing this with my fiance. Yes, Pentiment is like a little narrative RPG, and we finished the first act and began Act 2 of 3, and something happens that I was surprised by, and really itching to get back to this. But what got in the way was Silent Hill F, which was on sale, and we've been looking to get it and play it together for a long time. And technically speaking, when I'm recording this, because it's so much later than I had intended to initially record this video, we have finished this game. I will save my thoughts until the next video, but I'll just say that it is good. It is good, and it is worth your time to play if you can get it, especially on sale. But yeah, this is the main reason we have not gotten much farther in Pentiment, as well as Ghost of Tsushima, which I have borrowed from a friend of mine, and I'm having a good time with it. This is where most of my hours have gone, and I have conflicting feelings about that because I am enjoying the game, but it is sort of awakening the completionist in me, which is a tricky thing to manage because on one hand, it does feel good to check off a list. I love a good list. I love checking off a good list. However, I don't know if it's like worth my time to do that instead of just playing the story. A lot of the side missions are kind of okay, other than the ones that are specifically tied to a character in the story. Those are good, but like the other side missions, there's so many of them, and they mostly just like boil down to talk to this person, go fight some guys, come back and talk to the person again, or some variation of that. There's others that kind of stand out, but I don't know. So I'm putting a lot of time into this game, and I'm only like not even halfway through Act 2 because I'm trying to complete it to some degree, and I think I probably will, but I don't know if I would play like the sequel necessarily. I don't know. We'll figure it out when I finish the game. Anywho, these are games now that I have completed. You will notice that I have DNF'd 2 of them, which is something that I generally try to avoid doing, but I also have come to the realization that it's healthy to, at some point disengage with art that you are not enjoying anymore or invested in. So the games that I did DNF, I felt like I gave a good fair shake, but just weren't quite for me. And the first of those games is The Witcher, which is a huge disappointment to me. When I first started the game, I was actually super into it. The combat seemed fun, kind of like rhythm gamey, because you're like tapping the mouse in time to like do combos, and you have to change the stance. I like that a lot. The leveling and alchemy systems are really, really neat. And yeah, those are all the good things I would say. Otherwise, the game kind of just looks ugly, especially the animations. There's so many like weird glitches. There was this weird sound glitch. I don't know if it was just like something on my computer or if this is a problem with this edition in general. But whenever I would enter into a new area, like a new loading zone to a new area, it sounded like fire, like, and it would like cut off like that, like, but it would be so loud. It would be like really loud. It was so obnoxious, and you got to go in and out of doors so often. Yeah. On top of that, the quests kind of fell flat. As someone who has fully read the Witcher series, not to brag, but I'm a huge Witcher fan, and I felt like the writing was not up to snuff of the original authors. How he writes characters is something that I really love about that series, and I did not think that this game lived up to that in any sense, especially Geralt. Like to me, this Geralt is like I don't know. I want to say it's like an American interpretation, although I know CD Projekt Red is not an American company, but it feels like a more standard action hero, like tough guy type thing, and I mean Geralt is kind of like that in the books, but I think they severely over emphasize it here, whereas like everything is just it's kind of corny to me, and I just didn't really love it. I love the glossary system. Meant to mention that as well. I think that's really cool for someone who is either brand new to the series or is a veteran in a sense. And just in general, the menus, I love the look of the menus. Sorry, that's a really odd thing to say probably, but I just love, it's so organized and it's easy to navigate, and it's kind of well compartmentalized too, which I found very satisfying and easy to use. I will probably look ahead to the remake. Maybe at some point I will try the second game in the series. I think the third game has more modern conveniences, so maybe I would like that one the best, and I should just jump straight to that. But otherwise, yeah. Oh, and I would be I would be remiss to mention the collectibles. So in the novels, Geralt is a rather promiscuous man. He does have sexual relations with many a woman, and it's a part of his character, and it's kind of like I don't know, it peters off throughout the series because he becomes more attached to, it's kind of the whole Yennefer thing, but anyways, but in this game he's lost his memory, and so he doesn't know about his one true love, and you have the opportunity to bed many women, which in and of itself isn't necessarily that strange from games from this time. I remember playing the first God of, or is it God of War 3? One of the God of Wars, and after you beat the first level, you're in the middle of a quick time event with a woman, and you're But in this game, the collectibles are cards of like little virtual cards of all the women you have sex with, and they're like in naked provocative poses on these like little like Playboy centerfolds. The first time it happened, it was so fucking ridiculous. I laughed out loud. That I don't know, but it's very of its time, I suppose. Anywho, I would overall give this game a C. It wasn't what I hoped it would be. Maybe a B is probably more accurate to its actual quality, but a C is what I would give my personal rating to. We're following it up with a banger, a true banger. Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX for the Game Boy Color. Now you might be asking, where did I procure a Game Boy Color in the year of our Lord 2026? Well, look not. What do they say in Dante's Inferno? Abandon all hope. That's not what I'm looking at. Look upon these works and stuff. Something like that. I bought an emulator. Anyway, this is the first game I played, and on the emulator, which is already like preloaded with a bunch of games and stuff, and it is easily in the running for my favorite Zelda game. It is so perfect. It is like, I can't even express to you how perfect this game is in terms of its world design. The dungeons are awesome. I love Eagle Tower, the way you're sort of like being on several levels and you gotta knock the pillars down and you gotta jump from top to bottom. It sounds like it would be annoying to deal with, but it actually works so well, and you start to really understand the layout of the dungeon. There's a good amount of backtracking in that one, but I didn't mind it. The game looks, sounds, feels like basically perfect. I think the story is simple and fits what they're trying to do, which is Zelda on a handheld. It's not trying to like take up a bunch of your playtime, but it is there, and there's a lot of interesting stuff with the idea that this island you're on is a dream of a large sort of like godlike creature, and the only way to escape would be to wake this creature, but if you do that, then everything and everyone on the island will disappear. And again, it's like sort of a background thing to your your ultimate goal is just to beat the game, right? Like beating the game, like your motivation isn't necessarily to like follow the story and see where it goes. Is what I'm trying to say. Your motivation is to beat the game, and beating the game means waking the windfish, but you don't necessarily know the ramifications of your actions. But anyways, I felt like it was weaved into the setting very well. The bosses all say something sort of like taunting, or they offer you something sort of philosophical to think about regarding that. And yeah, I don't know. Only downsides maybe are like there's a little bit of jank, which comes with the territory. Moments where I thought like, why would I ever think to do that? Specifically, okay, this is only one complaint I'll give, is that there's no real tutorial, which is fine, except for you go to the start of the game, you go down to the beach to get your sword. On the way there's a building. You go inside. There's a bunch of books to read. This is more of a me problem, actually, probably, but you got to read the books. Read all the books. Don't skip any books. If you skip the books, you will not learn a very important mechanic that you need to beat the game. You may figure it out on your own, regardless. But I did not. And I was like, how do I get past this part? In like dungeon 1 or 2. Yeah, and one thing I want to mention is that a lot of people complain about the item swapping, that you have to do it a lot, which is true, but it was in this version, at least in the DX version. I'm not sure about the like base Link's Awakening. It seems pretty quick. Like I felt bogged down the game, like the experience. So I don't know. Like people do complain about it, but wasn't a problem for me. That being said, my final grade for Link's Awakening DX is easily S tier. This is like a top 10 game for me now. Like this is just so good. I think everybody needs to play this game. I do not know about the remake. I've heard good things about it. It does change some stuff. I think it's worth playing on its like as a separate game. Like it is a remake, not just a remaster, right? So it's like it's its own thing based on this thing. So eventually, I would like to play the remake and see how I feel about it. But for the time being, this is likely the best Zelda game I've ever played. Next up, also on the emulator, I was trying to get some good, time spent on that, and I tried out Kirby's Dream Land. Only took me half an hour to beat, and I was not rushing, I would say. So, if you don't know, Kirby's first outing, he does have the suck, but he does not have the transform. So, that the suck is your only method of dealing damage now. Like you can't suck up a sword guy and have a sword. And I was kind of astonished how much of a foundation this game creates, even without that ability, because that seems so fundamental to Kirby's identity in the modern contemporary gaming space. Like if you think of Kirby, you think of Kirby sucking up a dude and becoming that dude. But even still, there's other things like enemy. What I mean to say is enemies that would later become suckable to transform are still in this game. So it's like a bottom up instead of a top down kind of a thing, if I'm getting that correctly. Like the enemies existed before they were being used to suck, if that makes sense. And then in addition, I think the game on Game Boy, it looks great. There's like a lot of detail in the backgrounds and stuff. There's a lot of variety in how things look. The music is phenomenal. Like if I was judging this game on those two things alone, it's easy S tier. Like it would be it is for that reason. It is like a must play, and it's only half an hour. You get half an hour to spend. It's simple but fun. That's how I would describe it. And when you beat the game, there is an extra mode that ups the challenge a little bit, but it's still. I played a little bit of it. I didn't feel the need to go through it all, but it still probably is like best for kids. Like this is a very much like a good game for a child, non-derogatory. But overall, I would give it a B. It wasn't, the most mind-blowing experience by any stretch, but I had a good time with it. I do like Kirby. I'm a Kirby fan, I would say. Going maybe in the exact opposite direction of Kirby's Dream Land, I finally finished Dark Souls. I finally did it. Me and Father Philip made it all the way from the Undead Asylum to the killing of the First Flame and took on Lord Gwyn, who by the way, I easily had the most trouble with. I don't know why, but Gwyn is the boss that I struggled with the most. Actually I do know partially why. I'll get to that in a second. But anyway, Dark Souls, all the Souls games, all the FromSoft games are games that I have had a very rocky relationship with. I bought Dark Souls for the 360 closer to when it came out. I was probably in maybe late middle school, early high school. And, I tried really hard, but I just it was just not, it was so new. It was such a different thing that it was like, this seems unfair, all these things. And the systems seemed very complex at the time, and they weren't really holding your hand and understanding them. And so it kind of became a series that I often would talk about to friends and be like, this game sucks. It's so hard. This artificial difficulty, But in the background, I was still like looking at videos about like the world and even the sequel, like Dark Souls 2, I also bought and tried that game. I didn't buy Dark Souls 3 or play that one yet, but I will eventually. But yeah, so it's like a series that I was kind of obsessed with and still am in a lot of ways. With the world, I think that the world they created, especially in Dark Souls 1, is especially after playing this game and experiencing this open world that is interconnected and has so many references across the different areas. It's a marvel, honestly. Like that is the best part of this game to me, is the exploration, finding new stuff, and learning about the characters and the bosses and all the things that happen in this setting. And then this time around too, this is probably my third or fourth attempt to play this game, and I went into it sort of just being like a bit more non-committal to a build and not like trying to be like the most optimized or anything like that. And so I actually picked cleric for fun. I was just curious. And Father Philip and I, we very quickly got our trusty battle axe, and that is the weapon I used the whole game. I leveled it up plus 10, and then I leveled it up to a lightning battle axe, plus 5. And yeah, we went through. I mean, I really didn't have much trouble. I did use summons. I don't give a shit about like that kind of like this sort of like try hard mentality that a lot of people have about the Souls games. The games are here to have fun, so I don't give a fuck about using summons or not. Like, do what you want to do. Who cares? So I did use summons on harder fights that I knew were going to give me trouble, such as Ornstein and Smog, Ornstein and Smough. But yeah, I mean, okay. Overall, I think this game is like pretty genre defining and just really a joy to play. Even when you're frustrated, even though I summoned and stuff, there was still frustrating moments. Blighttown in particular was very challenging, I would say. I think I may like Dark Souls 2 still a little bit better. I have not finished that one I played it. That was the first Souls game that I made it like more than a quarter of the way through. Like I made it probably like halfway through or even more of Dark Souls 2. But I got stuck at a part and I couldn't progress at the Dragon Eerie. So but anyway, Dark Souls 1 is excellent. I gave it an A. It probably deserves an A plus in all honesty. I think A plus maybe is more appropriate in hindsight, but I do love this game. As you can see, put some hours into it, quite a few hours into it, and I am excited to move on to Dark Souls 2. Probably start a new playthrough on that one, and maybe then Bloodborne and all the others. All right, and then also I just realized I kind of sandwiched Dark Souls in between Kirby a little bit, which is kind of a funny sandwich to make considering the difficulty levels. But I think Kirby's Adventure is just overall a better game than Kirby's Dream Land because they do add the suckability with copying and transforming. I would say that it sort of like takes whatever was set by Dreamland and ups the ante. I think the visuals are much cleaner. They're not confined to the Game Boy screen. This is on the NES, and so you can have color. You can have, I would say, like not necessarily smaller characters, but they take up less screen real estate, and so the levels can kind of open up a little bit, just in terms of your perception. There's a lot more levels here. This game took me 5 times as long to beat as Kirby's Dream Land, but with the same great aesthetic and music that you are used to. My only caveat is that the level designs were all over the place in terms of quality, and many of them sort of toward the bottom in terms of their intentionality. I think sometimes levels felt very copy pasted together that could be intentional because of the dreamland type thing, but it also makes for a very strange in a bad way sometimes experience, I guess. I mean, I still had a great time with it. I think Kirby's Adventure is definitely a B plus, but I am looking forward to, the Kirby's that I grew up on. Did I mention that I'm gonna try to play through all the Kirby games in order? I think I'm gonna do that because I have a lot of them on my emulator thingy. There are a few that I don't have access to, but I could probably procure them. But anyways, moving on, I believe this is the last game, Blaster Master Zero. As I said, I have 2 games that I DNF'd, and this is the second one. The genre is very, I would say, incorrect almost, because it's not really a Metroidvania. It is like an open world, but you're not really like, at least as far as I got, to be fair, I only got 3 hours in. You're not, which is like actually half the game. I don't think you're really getting new abilities and going to new places. You are getting new abilities to unlock forward progression, but it's all a straight line. I think you may later have to go back, and I know this about the original Blaster Master, you have to go back up to the very first screen and then go up, and then you get a new world. But that's that's very, very basic. Okay, basically, if you're not familiar with Blaster Master, I think the concept is really cool. There's basically 2 different games you're playing. One is a side-scrolling platformer where you're in a tank and you're navigating the caves, and then you can find dungeons essentially. Like the tank is like the overworld, and the dungeons are where you get out of the tank, and you go in, and it's a sort of almost top-down. What is that called? There's a name for it, but it's like not quite top-down. It's like kind of like that. And those are like twin-stick shooter kind of, not twin-stick shooter, but kind of like yeah, it's not a twin-stick shooter, but it's a, you'll see if you watch, just go look it up. I can't fucking explain it. But yeah, so those are the 2 kind of main gameplay things going on. Things I liked about the game is that there was a lot of variety in bosses. Almost every dungeon had like a boss that was different or was like an enemy battle royale type thing, and those were pretty fun. And I like the structure. I think the idea is very good, but sort of like Kirby's Adventure on NES and Kirby's Dream Land to an extent. The world, like the design of the world, felt at times a little too nothing. What I mean to say is it felt a little undesigned, which, like, if you're going for that sort of naturalistic world design, you're trying to make it feel very real, I get that, and I actually would like that in a lot of games. But in this kind of a game, I don't know. If that was their intention, I don't know if it really fits. I would have liked levels that are more, I guess, just intentionally designed. Yeah, and so because of that, it ended up feeling really repetitive for me. And I don't know. After 3 hours, I was like, I think I've seen most of what this game has to offer. Maybe in the future I'll come back to it and finish it up, but I lost interest. So, overall, I think it deserves a B. I think it's probably a B tier game. It's not like actively bad, right? But it's not like good. I mean, it's good. It's good. It's fine. It's fine. All right. Last thing. Quarter 2 statistics. Let's get to it. I finished 4 games. I DNF'd 2 games, as mentioned. I have 5 games currently in progress. Technically only 4 because I finished Silent Hill F. 5 games finished, but it was all beginning of July, so it was technically quarter 3. Excuse me. 68.5 hours played. This is not including the games on PS5 because I could not easily track them. because of this. I don't know, this weird thing. Like, Ghost of Tsushima says that I only have 2 hours played, which is not true. So I don't know how to fix that, but whatever. I earned 95 achievements out of a possible who knows. These are pretty good. I would have liked to have finished more games, but I did play quite a few long ones. Like Dark Souls is, 27 hours I put into it. I'm putting a lot of hours into Ghost of Tsushima. As I said, I've been putting hours into Half-Life 2, which is about 15 hours or so. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied with how things turned out. I appreciate you watching this video. Thanks for sticking around. If you'd like, you can leave a thumbs up. So stupid. You can leave a thumbs up. You could comment and tell me I'm wrong. Or you can subscribe to hear me be wrong more in the future. For now, I will bid you adieu. Hoping to have a Q2 music update video out at the end of July. So wish me luck on that, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. If you live in Michigan, do not go outside. Peace.